Dear friends, my name is Sofia Orlovsky. I would like to explain how the understanding of life and death evolved over the centuries. Historically, people's faith was shaped through their own physical eyes, with the recognition of their lives being the same as that of animals. People proved to themselves through self correctness with one's own belief, seeing animals die, that the reality of death exists, and from which the idea came about that life continues through reincarnation. In the process of formation of human consciousness, many people began to believe that it is always necessary to live as God intended. However, since people forgot their origin and their connection with the higher consciousness God, the feelings of love for life as the source of life were forgotten. People's worldview began to be based on false faith in the understanding that the continuation of life is reincarnation. People agreed with the worldview which man continues to have in accordance to the DNA of feelings from his ancestors. Hence, this coded programming greatly influences human thoughts, feelings, and actions. People always searched for their creator God, creating many religions, philosophical teachings, studying psychological sciences and philosophy. However, all of this did not help people understand their life and see the cause of all the negative manifestations in their lives. People continued to rely on their life experiences and external influences. Friends, I want to draw your attention to the fact that only those people who accepted and understood the laws of the psyche and thought were able to completely free themselves from external influences. I'm talking about people who recognize the real true God and began using the mental exercises, thereby healing their feelings and thoughts, their divine soul. For these people, in accordance to the law of the psyche and thought, a reality appears where the feelings of energy fear began automatically be pushed out and away from their divine soul. That is, they could no longer live believing in these fears, and the feelings of their divine soul began to grow, gaining true power of love for the higher consciousness soul of God. In addition, these people no longer needed to adjust to be dependent or feel a threat to their lives. For those people, a transformation of feelings occurred, and they are on their way to a full union with the higher consciousness God in a reality of life within life. I live and exist always. All of this is happening thanks to the knowledge received from the higher consciousness God about the work of the psyche and thought. This knowledge was transmitted to Earth through telepathic contact with the higher consciousness God by Galina Demkova and Alexander Stolov. As a result of this invaluable knowledge, a person began to consciously realize that he can dissolve his faith in the existence of reincarnation for the continuation of life. As many people already done that, they live with this knowledge from God. Why did mankind have such a false faith? This is because in their soul there was no room for the reality of the higher consciousness God. As a person lived with thoughts and feelings of energy-based fear. Subsequently, when people returned to a new physical body, all the feelings of energy fear, according to the DNA code of feelings, remained in the consciousness of feelings and thoughts of people. As these feelings do not disappear anywhere and live in the inner world of a person until he consciously frees himself from them using the law of the work of the psyche and thought. Thanks to the knowledge of the higher consciousness God and the new feelings of love for life, I exist always. The truth was revealed. It became known that according to the original design plan of the higher consciousness God, that the divine soul does not know about reincarnation at all. Without this knowledge and God's new feeling, love for life, people cannot learn that it's necessary to love life without fear of losing it. There is no reincarnation for the life of the divine soul. Why doesn't it exist? Only because the divine soul, according to priority, does not have death and never did. In fact, people feared God's punishment, believing that reincarnation existed, not realizing that the continuation of life for them would be only from feelings of energy fear. Initially, this mutation of feelings occurred on Earth because humans believed that they were animals and took their fear of death and extinction as the basis, meaning the source of feelings of their own lives. So, in order to understand the reality of the higher consciousness God, I would like to add that as long as a person believes that he came from the animal plant world, the source of God's love for the real higher consciousness God will always be close to him. Why? This is because when God created the animal plant world, he never divided his soul into it. That is, in the consciousness of the animal plant world, solely God's thought lives. I live, with the form of a beginning and an end of life. So furthermore, despite the fact that a lifespan of an animal or a tree can be 300 to 400 years, this life still has an end, since it's without a higher consciousness of the soul of God the Father. The higher consciousness God is the creator of all life. And this is because in God's creative life, there exists no separation of creativity. Man has a division in his creative work. He sees his life as short as that of an animal and plant world. Now, separating this life, his soul, from the higher consciousness God, it is important for each person to understand that he has never evolved from the animal plant world. What is the difference between the life of the animal plant world and the human life of the divine soul? The only difference is that the higher consciousness God did not create a divine soul inside of an animal plant world. Love for life lives only in the inner world of a divine soul, as I live and exist always. That is, the soul of the higher consciousness God divides creation, giving birth to a human divine soul in mirror image of his soul, with the living thought of I live and exist always as life in life. God, the higher consciousness, creates the animal plant world in a mirror image of his soul with living thoughts of I live. Question to God: how to fundamentally understand your God living thoughts with the reflection of your soul. God says, reflection on earth are my feelings of the higher consciousness. Very simple. This can easily be observed in the living example of nature, which does not contain my higher consciousness soul, only merely one of my living thoughts I live. That is, living nature does not contain the feelings of my soul of a reasonable life. It reflects only in itself my living thought. I exist. I live. Dear friends, I hope you enjoyed this video. I sincerely wish you all the greatest happiness in understanding this knowledge about the works of the psyche and how thought works, and helping everyone understand this knowledge based on the information presented in this video. Thank you for letting me share this information with you, and I wish you all the greatest feelings of love for life always. Sophia.